Welcome to an episode of Chad Sports Talk, and welcome to week 3 of the college football season. And we'll kind of do a quick recap of week 2 and how I did, and we kind of look at the week 3 games. Like I said in the previous video, now I'm only going to concentrate on the Saturday matchups, even though this upcoming Thursday and Friday, well, actually Friday has a very key top 25 matchup between two programs of Arizona and K-State, but I won't be covering that. So let's go in and look at week 2's matchups. I ended up doing 12 games again. Once again, last time I'll be doing that. And I'm going 7-5 again. Seems to be my mark. But on the Friday game, I picked correctly with BYU. Going to SMU and winning. Everything was pointing towards the Mustangs. I just couldn't fall for that one. For the Michigan game, definitely picked Texas to go in the big house. Michigan definitely is not the same team that won the national championship last year. Obviously, new head coach, a lot of new pieces, a lot of new starters. Michigan has a lot of ground to make up. Went to Syracuse. I picked the Orange to knock off the Yellow Jackets. It just seems what the ACC does right now. They do tend to knock each other around. And they played extremely well with the Ohio State transfer. So, congratulations to the Orange. The River City rivalry, I picked wrong in that one. It happens. But, you know, it was a very close matchup between these two programs. The Cy-Hawk battle between Iowa State and Iowa. I went with Iowa because they're at home, but Cyclones actually held on and won with the last-second field goal. UTSA and Texas State. Texas State demolished UTSA. Last year it was close. I thought, they had a shot, but Texas State looks really good. The Bobcats dined on some Roadrunners. And getting that one, so they ended up losing 3 in a row. I ended up watching the Kansas Illini game, and I was quite happy with that one. The Illini actually showed a lot of progress. The defense stepped up. Offense still needs a lot of work, but they still held on and won at the end. Then you had the kickoff, Duke's Mayo's Classic kickoff. And they're in Charlotte between Tennessee and NC State. And I thought this would be a lot closer than it was. Tennessee dominated NC State in this matchup. Picked that one. Renewed of the rivalry between Colorado and Nebraska. I thought the Buffs, I jumped on that hype train. I fell for that one, but Big Red, it was too much. They're off early, but the second half, Colorado's defense stepped up, but the offense couldn't do anything against that Nebraska defense, and Nebraska ended up winning that game. Give me my fourth loss. Wow, not really bad. I was 8-4. Oregon, Boise State. I knew Boise State was going to make this a game, and they did, and Oregon ended up escaping. Arizona State was too much of Mississippi State, and Liberty had to come from behind to beat New Mexico State in their clash. But all in all, not bad. Let's see how it transfers for Saturday. All right, now it's time off for our Saturday showdown matchups. I got 10 on the docket. Let's go ahead and dive right in. We'll go head off to Madison, Wisconsin as the Badgers play host to Alabama. Right now, Alabama has a 16-point advantage at the time of this video. In the way they have played so far, sure, but once again, neither programs really had any test as of yet. So all the stats for Alabama are skewed one direction. But I do think Wisconsin's going to play them a lot more tougher than what the spread's showing. So if I was going to go off of points, I would definitely pick Wisconsin. But I don't think Wisconsin is there yet. They're on the process of getting there. Remember, they have Feckle, the old Cincinnati Bearcat coach that took them to the playoff. So I think he's going to have them battling for the Big Ten title this year. But they're going to be outside looking in this game. They're going to be trailing. We'll see how he kind of handles the situation with Alabama once again. But I think the fall shorts. I think they will make this a contest. This will go down, but it's going to be the Alabama's defense that shows up, takes over, gets a key interceptions, probably done with a pick six, which really I think should catapult the Tide getting past the Badgers. Then we over to Columbia, South Carolina, where the Gamecocks are playing host to LSU and the Bayou Bengals. In a way, South Carolina went into Kentucky and handled business. They look legit. LSU had that struggle against USC to kick things off in Vegas. They look decent, but definitely beatable right now. South Carolina doesn't seem to have that aura around them. They look like they'll be a little more tentative this year to be a little more combative. Right now, the line has it LSU by 7. I am bucking the trend. I'm taking the Gamecocks in this one. This one might bite me, but I don't know. I just don't see. I mean, LSU is talented. Kelly is a decent coach. We'll just see how they can bounce back against a decent opponent. Have another top 25 matchup between a 24th ranked Boston College taking on the 6th ranked Missouri to see which teams will come on top. So having Boston College in the top 25 seems a little weird. It's been a while since I've been up there. Right now, Mizzou's favored by 16. I think they will win by double digits, but I don't think it's 16. I think they'll win by 14. So I'll probably take BC for the points. But the way Cook is going right now, almost 500 yards passing, but he needs to limit his interceptions. But it's the running attack by Ward from the Eagles that's going to play huge dividends for them to kind of make this a little bit closer. As long as they sometimes maintain the run, they could possibly change the aspects of this game. I doubt that. I think Missouri's passing attack will probably be too much for them. I'll give it to Mizzou, again, winning by 14, not 16. And then the rivalry between Oregon and Oregon State stays afloat as they do head-to-heads at the end of the year. They're facing off in Week 3 over in Corvallis. Both programs are 2-0. Oregon has looked beatable. They struggle against Idaho, struggle against Boise State. The Beavers smell the blood. I really think Oregon State can knock off Oregon. I mean, Gabriel has had some fantastic numbers, over 600 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. But it's the running attack of Griffin and the Beavers that they need to stop. 250 yards, almost 250 yards for Griffin, and 3 touchdowns are going to be aspect. If the Beavers secondary can limit the damage that the Ducks offense and the passing attack can do, I believe the Ducks can win this. Right now, Oregon's favored by 16.5. When has Oregon ever covered the spread? They haven't yet. So I don't know why they keep making the spread so high. But I'll give the Beavers in the shocker. Now over to West Lafayette, Indiana, where the Purdue Boilermakers will finally play their second game. Will take on the 1-1 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. That's right, Notre Dame last week got manhandled by Northern Illinois. There's no question about it. They were manhandled. Illinois could not get the run going. Leonard kept throwing interceptions. It was a bad showing. And once again, every time Notre Dame has a game in the beginning of the season, first game, high-profile game, they put their heart and soul, blood, sweat, and tears into that matchup. And when it comes to the next game, they have a hangover and fall flat. This is something that has happened under Freeman's tutelage, something he's got to try to rectify in future years, future games. But that loss to Northern Illinois really hampered them. It could really hamper their aspects to a playoff position. They have to win the rest of the games. Expect everyone else to have at least 2 losses to probably get in at this point. They probably have to have everyone have 3 losses to even get in. But take on the Boilermakers, which will play them tough. Every time Notre Dame Purdue's ever gone at it, it's always been a hard battle between the two. And that always seems to affect Notre Dame. One form or fashion is like why you're struggling against these teams. And it's just their nature. Anytime they take on, like especially Navy, it's always tough to take on Navy. They always have a hard time taking on Purdue or Michigan or Michigan State. They're rivals. That's what happens in rivalry games. But the Irish are favored about 9.5. No. 3 points. That's not going to separate these two, but I'm going to stick with the Irish. They show pretty good tenacity against A&M, but Northern Illinois, they fell flat. So hopefully that beat down that they suffered against the Huskies would really help them out to right the ship and press forward. Then it's time for the Apple Cup between Wazoo and Washington. And this should be a very, very interesting matchup because you have Rogers for the Huskies, who has over 500 yards passing, 5 touchdowns. Mater for the Wildcats, who has over 250 yards rushing. So the Huskies defense really has to worry about a dual threat from the quarterback because he is definitely mobile. Right now, the line has Washington by 4.5. That one's a little more reasonable. I definitely will go with the Huskies as well to win this rivalry matchup. And the Backyard Brawl is back once again as West Virginia will head up to Pittsburgh and take on the Panthers. And, Pitt goes into Cincinnati, and I picked last week, and I picked Cincinnati to win that game, but, their defense showed up. West Virginia has a little bit more oomph behind them, but they really seem to have a lot of stat makers. But Reed, if he continued his impression of pretty much getting almost 10 yards a carry, I mean, he's not quite that high, but, he had 33 carries at 293 yards. I mean, he gets a huge chunks most of the time. And then Holstein has over 600 yards passing. And he's like 3-1 in terms of TD interception ratio. If these guys have that, I don't see an issue, but they struggled immensely against Cincinnati. West Virginia's look pretty good. Right now, West Virginia's favored by 2. I want to lead with Pittsburgh. I mean, everything tells me Pittsburgh, but I'm going to go with West Virginia in this matchup. Then we'll do the rivalry game out there in Middle Tennessee, playing host to Western Kentucky. The Blue Raiders going in there trying to find ways to have a good season, while the Hilltoppers are just riding high right now behind Finley, over 440 yards passing. He needs to limit his interceptions. That's one thing that's kind of hampered him. Is one thing that's going to keep Middle Tennessee in this game is coughing the ball over. Middle Tennessee needs to capitalize on opportunities that present themselves. But right now, I think Western Kentucky would end up edging out Middle Tennessee. Right now, they're favored by 7. I think that's a little high, but I'll give it to them. Be a little generous. Also going with the Hilltoppers. Now it's time to look at a conference matchup over there in the Rose Bowl between Indiana and UCLA. That's right, I said conference matchup. Remember, UCLA's in the Big Ten now. So we have this matchup going up. And, for the Hoosiers, they had a work is doing extremely well, almost 450 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. I mean, the Allison, 185 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. So a definite potent offense. And we're trying to see how UCLA can redeem themselves, trying to, put some points up and bounce back. Right now, Indiana's favored by 3. I'm going to go UCLA, and this one is right now. I don't believe the hype with the Hoosiers. I'm not falling for the hype train anymore. Yeah, I'll fall for a hype train again. Don't worry, it's me. I do that. But now go back Indiana in this one. I think UCLA will edge them out by 3. Then the follow game on the docket, another old school rivalry from the ACC. Maryland will head to Charlottesville to take on the Cavaliers. Maryland hasn't looked good in the past couple of games. They are 1-1 though. But Colin Drea from the Cavs, over 650 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, 2 picks. He needs to limit that pace. Needs to be a little bit more productive rushing. He does have 100 yards in 2 games, but he has only 16 carries. So they tried to incorporate that a little bit better. It should really help out. Felton for the Terps. It's going to be a prime target. The Cavs are going to concentrate on him probably a lot. He's probably going to see a lot of double, triple teams. Can Maryland find other targets to exploit the Cavs defense? That's going to be what's going to have to happen. Right now, the Terrapins are favored by 2.5. I'm going to take Virginia in this matchup. The way I watched the way Maryland played against Michigan State, I don't see it happening. But stranger things have happened, and with this old school rivalry between Maryland and Virginia squaring off once again, taking Virginia. Well, those are my 10. We'll kind of see how things play out from here. I have some head scratchers. Ones can definitely go other directions. We'll see how things happen on the field, because strange things have happened. Games have been a lot closer than a lot of people anticipate. Oregon is one of these teams that continue to have these double-digit spreads and don't live up to the hype. But I think Oregon State's going to finally make them pay for the price for not preparing better for programs. Looking for Notre Dame to rebound from their dismal Week 2 performance. And we'll kind of see some things happen. I like to see South Carolina move up in SEC standings. I mean, who knows what's going to happen in that game in Columbia? I mean, LSU could go in and win. So there's definitely a lot of games that have picked that could definitely swing the other direction. I understand that. But it's just one of these things you kind of look at and you kind of go off a gut. And sometimes you have a bad gut feeling. Sometimes you have a good gut feeling. We'll see how things transpire on Saturday. But let me know down below which game you thought I got completely wrong. Which game are you looking for that I did not cover? And do you like the idea of this Twist 12-team format? Do you like the idea of the upcoming conference realignment scenario with the pack? There's a lot of things to unpack in the news that came across. Let's mix it up. Comment below. It really helps the algorithm. The almighty YouTube algorithm we all have to praise and emulate and hold to high esteem. Once we do that, and you like what I do, hit that thumbs up. It really helps this channel out. Another thing you can do is subscribe. Now, many of you do. Those that have subscribed, I love you and thank you for doing so. To subscribe, doesn't cost you a dime. You click that subscribe button, click the bell icon, turn notifications, let you know next time I post any more content on my channel. And I'll see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.